Charleston for undergrad, where I studied international studies and political science. I've always been drawn to how people connect and how they share meaning. And after graduation, I left into the unknown. I moved to Spain to teach at a few primary schools and a small college. And this wasn't just a job for me, it was a way for me to immerse myself into a new culture and explore how different societies support their people through public systems. Because navigating these systems wasn't easy, but it definitely sparked something in me. I saw firsthand how bureaucracy can either empower people or frustrate people, and that tension pushed me to think bigger about public systems and access. Because my day-to-day life depended on public transportation, healthcare, and education systems. I experienced the good and the bad, and it made me deeply curious about how these systems function and what can be improved. I started to identify these gaps. And I returned home changed, not just by travel, but by reflection. I wanted to dig into how public administration works back home and how policy impacts people on a local level, especially here in the South. And that's when I found the Master's in Public Administration program. It felt like the perfect blend of policy, leadership, and community impact. And more than anything, it gave me a language for the things that I had witnessed and the frustrations that I felt while I was abroad. And a huge thing for me is how the program emphasizes themes that align with my values of equity, humanity, and public good. I hadn't yet heard of a master's program that prioritized a value system so deeply, and I haven't just been learning theory, I've been gaining tools to advocate for fairness and transparency within systems that often fall short. And when I first started the program, I was working at a law firm, as most of you know. I was frustrated a lot. It was fast-paced, profit-driven, but it didn't feed my soul. I really wanted to be a part of something that prioritized people over margin, so I made the big shift to Coastal Community Foundation. And it took a bit of transition. I was used to a culture that was rooted in efficiency and urgency, and now I'm in a place where relationships and process matter more. And I'm realizing that this is what meaningful work feels like. And as an assignment within my nonprofit leadership course, and also a recommendation from my supervisor at CCF, I read Dan Heath's Upstream, and this was really a turning point for me. It validated the frustrations that I'd had, and it helped me reframe how I think about impact, system change, and the value of nonprofit work. Because working at CCF, we are a foundation focused on long-term impact and changing systems. We're not chasing these quick wins, we're investing in community transformation. It's slower, but it's also richer, more intentional, and deeply rewarding. And I'm learning that place matters. The Low Country shaped my values and vision, Spain only expanded them. And now I'm working in communities across South Carolina, helping support grassroots missions to change systems. And one of my biggest focuses and interests has been on measuring impact. I'm interested in what's working, what's not, and how we can tell those stories honestly. Data is important, but so are the human voices behind it. And on this next slide, try not to jump at the R studio. Because within the MBA program, specifically in my research methods class, I've learned to use and compare data to see how the support can change capacity, impact, and community relationships within organizations. And I've learned that the best solutions often come from listening, not leading. I've learned to use community members know their needs and their dreams, and it's our job to amplify, not overwrite them. And a term that we often use within the MPA program is to meet them where they're at. Instead of parachuting in with solutions, we focus on meeting communities where they are, supporting their vision, not replace it. It's about finding what already works, listening deeply, and letting local leadership guide the way. Because sometimes the biggest changes are the hardest to quantify, such as trust, confidence, and collaboration. And I've learned that systems don't change overnight, but they can change through persistence, care, and collective effort. And I've learned that leadership often looks like quiet consistency. I've learned that sometimes success is what didn't happen, and we often don't get to see the results of our work either. And it all really comes full circle for me. I want to keep showing up for my communities. I want to ask better questions. I want to support bold ideas and challenge these outdated systems. Public service isn't just a job for me, it's truly a calling. I started this journey rooted in the Low Country, searching for meaning and for purpose, and I found it in systems and stories and in service. And finally, I would like to thank the CFC MPA faculty and staff, my MPA colleagues that have become lifelong friends, and my family for their unwavering support throughout the last 2 years. This has been an incredible journey for me and has truly changed my perspective from a personal and professional standpoint. I'm feeling thankful.